All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Great turnout here, by the way, and I'm seeing lots of new faces, so that's exciting. Keep spreading the word, guys. Keep growing the group and keep supporting each other. So, in preparing for the next to last Survive to Thrive call for 2024 and the last training call, because tomorrow is scripted role play every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. For those of you who are new to our group here, we practice and role play scripts 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday and Thursday is training day. Lately, we've had some amazing guest speakers, so we're going to pick up on that again in 2025. Today, though, I'm going to share a message that I have for you. And doing this, I really spent a lot of time on this morning and asking myself, what's the one message? If I only had one message to share with this group, and it was the last time I had to share, what would it be? And this is it. It's 7 principles that have changed my life. And, the thing about a principle is it's a principle, whether you acknowledge it or not. And it's like gravity, you can't say, well, it doesn't exist. It exists. And if you choose to ignore the principle, it's still working in your life. So principle number 1 is the buck stops here. And the whole idea about the buck stops here is accepting responsibility for where you are at. All of us are going to go through tough times. The one thing that every great man and woman in history have in common is adversity. And here's the thing about adversity. Adversity is preparation for greatness. Now, so many people, when facing adversity, they'll ask a question like, why me? And I did that personally. The greatest adversity that I've ever faced in my life, and I've had my fair share, but the greatest adversity was when my 14-year-old daughter was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And the question wasn't why me, it was why her. And what's interesting is she didn't ask that question. She never asked that question. In 52 weeks of going through chemo treatments, being just sick as sick can be, she never asked that question. And her response always was, somebody's sicker than I am. This is no big deal. And I thought, wow, if all of us could look at life like that, right? So when facing adversity, don't ask yourself, why me? I want you to have a conversation with yourself that goes something like, adversity is preparation for greatness. I'm prepared for greatness. Here's the other thing on the buck stops here. There's nothing in life that is less significant than the score at halftime. And even if you got your ass kicked in the first half, you go into the locker room and you can make changes and adjustments, and you could come out in the second half, and you can score and score and score and score again until you win the game by winning in the second half. And there's a halftime in life. How do you know when you're at halftime? Well, you're breathing, which means you're still here. It's your proof of hope that no matter how bad things are going in your life right now, it's only halftime, which means things are going to get better. But they're going to get better because you look in the mirror and you accept responsibility for where you are, knowing that it's not the economy's fault. It's not interest rates. It's not too many real estate agents. It's not the president's fault. It's not your neighbor's fault. It's not your spouse's fault. It's your fault. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am responsible for where I am right now. And that's good news, because if you're responsible for where you are right now, then you can make a decision to get to better. But if you play the blame game, then you don't have any control over that. I mean, what are you going to do about the weather? What are you going to do about your next door neighbor? What are you going to do about the president? Absolutely nothing. All right, principle number 2, I will seek wisdom. There's 2 ways that you're going to seek wisdom in your life. Number 1 is read. And when I say read, I mean read books. The information that I'm sharing with you today came from reading this book more than 40 times. And people would say, gee whiz, John, what did you not get the first time? Why did you read the book 40 times? And my answer would be, you don't understand. I'm not reading books to put a check mark, done, and then put it on the bookshelf. I am reading books to because I'm on a constant search for wisdom. And every single time I read this book, I gain more wisdom. So read books. And I want you to have a book in your hand and a highlighter in the other hand. The other way that you're going to seek wisdom is by choosing the people that you associate with. Now you're either gonna choose to hang out with the ducks. And if you've heard my duck video blog, then you know I love ducks. But in this conversation, it's not about loving ducks. So you can either hang out with the ducks or you can hang out with eagles. Now, ducks are on the ground, they're pecking at the ground. And as they're pecking, I want you to think they're pecking, the market sucks. They're pecking at the ground, the real estate industry sucks. There's no buyers, there's no sellers, there's interest rates are too high. There's too much competition. I can't get any listings. And then you have eagles, and eagles are flying so high that they can't hear the bullshit on the ground. They are way above it, squarely focused on the target. To them, all of that stuff is noise that they've ignored because they know where they're going. They know that they're going to get there. And quite honestly, they don't care what the ducks have to say. Find a better tribe. Who are you hanging out with? You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you want to seek wisdom, hang out with a better group of people. All right, principle number 3. I am a person of action. You know, in the book, The Traveler's Gift, he uses a story of Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain to share this story. And Google the name. So Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain was an officer in the Union Army on the far left flank of a wall that had been built over 80 miles that in the Battle of Gettysburg. And historians would tell you that had the South won the Battle of Gettysburg, more than likely they would have won the Civil War. That's how important this battle was. I want you to think about this for a moment because you wouldn't be here today in the same capacity that you are today. None of us would. And most historians would tell you that it wouldn't be the southern United States and the northern United States. More than likely, the United States would be about 13 different countries. It would look very, very different. Why is that important? Well, think about the times in history when the United States stood in the gap. Then World War II, as Hitler was marching across Europe to take over the world, had Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain not made this one decision, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. He made this one decision because he's a person of action. Had he not made this one decision, there would not have been a United States to stand in the gap. It's the butterfly effect. You can change the world simply by flapping your wings and being a person of action. So the Southern troops are gathering at the bottom of this hill, and they're getting ready to charge up the hill towards the Union Army. The Union Army is Joshua's group, his battalion has 80 men who are mostly injured, very little ammunition left, and they're going to lose. And they know they're going to lose. And the Confederate group has been reinforced. There's 300 of them or 400 of them, and they're coming on this last charge. And the lookouts are yelling, "Here they come, here they come." And Joshua Chamberlain is standing on the wall. I want you to picture this in your mind. He is standing on the wall looking down at his men who are battered and beaten and no ammunition. And he looks at him and he says, "Fix bayonets." And the response was, "What? We should be turning around and running in the other direction." You see, a person of action doesn't run the other way. He said, "Fix bayonets." And then he looked at him and said, "Charge." Joshua and Chamberlain went over the wall, and his men followed him. The Confederate Army, absolutely sure that this is not the same group that they had been facing all day, that they must have been reinforced, that there was more of them, that they're otherwise, why in the world would they come over the wall and charge? They wouldn't do that. And the Confederate Army dropped their weapons and ran the other way. And within 5 minutes, Joshua Chamberlain had his sword on the leader of the Confederate group who was surrendering, and they lost the battle. And the Union went on to win the war, as we all know, and changed the world by one person who took action. What is the action that you need to take that you're not taking out of fear? What if you did? Whose lives could you change? It's the butterfly effect, guys. The whole idea behind the butterfly effect is everything we do matters. Everything we do matters. Everything we don't do matters. And we can change the lives of children who aren't even born yet by flapping our butterfly wings. Principle number 4, I have a decided heart. When you have a decided heart, you know where you were going. And your message to the rest of the world is, if you are with me, awesome, let's go. If you are against me, I do not care what you think or say. This is where I'm going. It takes a person with passion. Write that word down. Super important, because passion is such a key ingredient to your success. When you're a person of passion, other people will come and just watch you burn. And when you're a person of passion, people will either get caught up in your wake or they will get out of your way because you have a decided heart. Principle number 5 is, today I will choose to be happy. You know, this is an interesting one to me because I remember growing up, I wasn't happy. I was really unhappy. If I ever finish Is Life a Lottery Ticket, which is a book that I'm currently working on right now, you'll hear the entire story, but life was not good. Abuse, neglect, physical abuse, mental abuse, poverty, pretty much life sucked. And then until I got into college and I was studying psychology, and I read a book titled Happiness is a Choice. And I thought, what an amazing concept. I can choose to be happy. It was the first time in my life, I was probably 18 years old. I read this book and realized no matter what my life has been up until this point, I can choose to be happy. What an amazing idea. Today, I'll choose to be happy. Principle number 6, I will greet this day with a forgiving spirit. So there's one person in your life that you need to forgive, that you're holding forgiveness for, that will make the greatest difference in your life. And that one person is you. When you withhold forgiveness, it's not impacting the other person who's the target of your anger, frustration, hate, envy, jealousy. It's you that's paying the price for withholding that forgiveness. And when you withhold with forgiveness from yourself, you're paying the price for that. All right, principle number 7. Principle number 7 is the most important one. That's why it's saved for last. And it's, I will persist without exception. Now, the whole idea behind I will persist without exception is the word without. You see, if you ask somebody, are you persistent? Their answer is going to be, yeah, well, of course, I'm persistent. But are you persistent without exception? See, most people are persistent until they're not. He closes out the book with this story about this warehouse where David Ponder, the hero of the story in The Traveler's Gift, goes, and in this warehouse, everything that never was exists. And it's everything that almost came into existence until the one person who was put on this earth to bring that thing into existence gave up right before they did. And as he's walking around this warehouse, he's visiting with the Archangel Gabriel, and he's asking, what is this? There's these pictures of kids. There's these formulas that are scientific formulas and math equations for inventions that would just make the world a different place. There's a cure for cancer. There's a cure for the common cold. Everything that doesn't exist exists in this warehouse. And the thing is, he asked them, can I take this with me? Can I take these things with me and bring them into existence? And Gabriel's response was, no, their time has passed. The saddest thing in life is not that we fail, because we always fail. The saddest thing in life is that we almost succeed, and there we are. What are your dreams that you've given up on? What if you didn't? All right, guys, that's my last message for 2024. I hope that added value for you. Joanne, talk to me.
John, you always add value. And I love these messages. They resonate with me. They help me grow as a person. And I would say from this today, the one thing that has made the biggest impact on me is compassion for myself and forgiving myself for feeling frustrated with the way I didn't know something. And the compassion has opened up the ability for me to grow and evolve.
Right. Well done. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
You know what? I like this. There was a lot in there I could comment on. But I'll say this: when I left home for the final time, not coming back, and other than to be a guest of my parents' home, my dad gave me this little teeny tiny 1 inch by 1 inch picture, and it's a saying. It's a saying by Emerson, and I've always used it, and I think it's pertinent to this conversation. The saying is, "The world makes way for a man who knows where he's going." And whenever I've been somewhere and I said, you know what, I'm going there. I'm going to go up there and make that money. Everybody just got out of my way, helped me, or jumped on my coattails, whatever it was. And
Right.
so I've always just kept that mindset, like I'm going here and nothing's going to stop me other than myself.
That's right. That's right. Matthew Kemps.
This is more just a general theme. I've done a bunch of coaching in my life. I've learned more in the short time period I've been with you on this coaching call than any of the coaching I've done in my entire life.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you.
Really means a lot. It's why I'm here. That's it.
It's your gift, John.
Yeah, Joanne, I really appreciate that. And for those of you who have been on this call we started this call 4 years ago. And for those of you who have been here the longest, you know who I am. And my faith is really, really important to me. And my only purpose in life is to be the person that God put me here to be. If this is why he put me here, then All I want to do is hear, well done, good and faithful servant. That's it. It's the only goal that matters to me. Clarissa, talk to me.
Okay, so this is good because I couldn't get off of mute yesterday.
Mhm.
That was my problem yesterday, but so happy it's working today. So I will tell you that probably being the person who's known you maybe the longest, and I hated to see you go from Coral Springs. But when you understand God's purpose, I understand why you and how you outgrew KW and Coral Springs. Your purpose is to share this and to be that person that all of us in these little boxes need, and for you to extend to the outer limits of the real estate world. John, I missed you. You know, we had the holiday party last night, and you know it wasn't the same. But you needed to go, and you wouldn't have gone if you weren't pushed. And I'm so glad God pushed you out of that door.
It's the proof of hope. And Clarissa, thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you so much for those kind words. They mean the world to me. I'm going to close really quick with a story, and it is one of my favorite stories, and it's a proof of hope story. So if you study history, which obviously history is one of my favorite subjects, and study the life of Joan of Arc, you know, her life ended at the stake. And her last words were, lift it higher. Lift it higher. She was speaking to the person in the crowd who was holding up the cross. And her message was, lift it higher so that I can see it. It's my proof of hope. All right. Y'all make it a great day.
John, did you say tomorrow is the last day? You're taking the next week off?
Tomorrow's script and role play. So it's all about you guys. And the next time we get back together as a group is going to be, hold on a second, let me look at my calendar. It is going to be January the 6th.
Perfect. Okay.
Please write it down, everybody. January 6th.
Merry Christmas, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays.
Merry
See y'all
Christmas.
tomorrow.
Merry Christmas,
See you tomorrow.
everybody.
Yes. Happy holidays,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Make it a great day, guys.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.